Hello. Today we're going to touch on the basics of truck driver taxes. The situation is going to vary depending on whether they are an employee of a company, a driver leasing a vehicle, the owner of a trucking company that employs drivers, several different scenarios. But we're going to touch the bare basics in order to be able to prepare a truck driver's return. Truck taxes vary based on the structure. And just so we're clear, an independent contractor drives for someone else and they would receive a 1099 NEC. An employee drives for someone else and they receive a W 2. An owner operator owns and drives his truck. And then an owner owns and employs drivers. Company structure matters, so make sure you know if they're a sole proprietor, a LLC, an incorporation, or if they have opted to be a S corp. This will make a difference when you're preparing their return. Types of taxes. Depending on the type of truck, there are required taxes outside of the federal income tax. Some truck drivers have the IFTA, which is the International Fuel Tax Agreement. They would have IFTA stickers on their vehicle. If so, their tax returns must be filed every quarter, even in times when there are no operations or purchase of fuel, and it is filed per quarter. If they're filed late, there's a $50 penalty. But this is about as far as we're going to go into this topic in this training because this is not routinely something tax preparers do. Normally, bookkeepers, accountants, as well as consultants that work directly in the trucking industry fill out the IFTAs, and this is not a part of tax preparation software. Owners and owner operators would pay a heavy highway vehicle use tax, which is on IRS Form 2290. Anyone who has registered or is required to register a heavy highway motor vehicle with a taxable gross weight of 55,000 pounds or more in their name must file. The filing season for the 2290 is July 1st to June 30th. The filing deadline is based on the month you first used the taxable vehicle on the public highway. So the form is routinely filed between July 1st and August 31st. For more information on this topic, if you go to irs.gov and you search Form 2290, it will give you all of the information in detail regarding this form. This filing deadline is not related to the vehicle registration date. Regardless of the vehicle's registration renewal date, taxpayers must file this Form 2290 by the last day of the month following the month in which the taxpayer first used the vehicle during the taxable period. Changes in vehicle status. If you claim a suspension for vehicles you expect to use 5,000 miles or less, 7,500 for agricultural vehicles during the reporting period. If the suspended vehicle exceeds the mileage, the tax becomes due. If you claim a credit for tax on a vehicle that is destroyed, stolen, or sold, or one that is used 5,000 miles or less, or 7,500 miles. If it's an agricultural vehicle, you may need to wait until the tax period is ended to make your claim. Again, this is information that is available in the actual instructions on irs.gov. Tax preparers also do not file the heavy use tax. Accountants, bookkeepers, and consultants within the trucking industry handle those, and this form is also not in the tax software. But in advising your client, you're going to want to make them aware, if they are not already aware, of the IFTA and the 2290. We're going to touch briefly on excise tax. A diesel-powered highway vehicle. This is any self-propelled vehicle designed to carry a load over public highways and propelled by a diesel-powered engine, specifically designed mobile machinery for non-transportation functions and vehicles specially designed for off-highway transportation are generally not considered diesel-powered highway vehicles. Excise tax in detail is in Public 510. So if you go to irs.gov and search Publication 510, you will find more detail on excise tax. Expenses are very important when we're dealing with truckers. As you see, the different fees and charges that they may have that are actual expenses that are claimable as expenses on their tax return. You'll see that truckers have significantly more than most businesses because they have a lot involved, a whole lot. You see, we're still going through. I know it seems very weird, but parking, tolls, tires, chains, tarps, the list goes on and on of the different things that they have that they may be claiming on their taxes. They can claim their home office only if they actually use it for business. As we already know, if you use the room for multiple things, then you cannot claim it. Kind of like the kitchen table. You eat on the kitchen table, you do read mail at the kitchen table. There's multiple things you do at the kitchen table. You cannot claim your kitchen table as the home office for your trucking business. But if you have a bedroom, a spare bedroom that you have turned into an office, and all you do in there is actual business, then of course you can claim um, business use of your home. A lot of people automatically go over to Simplified so that they can take advantage of using 300 square foot. But if you decide to um, do it the normal way, you're going to need all of this information. A trucker's income. The income source will be determined by the business structure. If they have a W-2, we're going to use a 1040. They're a regular employee. If they have a 1099, we're going to use a 1040 with a Schedule C for expenses that were not covered by the employee. If they're a sole proprietor or a sole LLC, of course, we're going to use a 1040 with a Schedule C. If they're an LLC with multiple members, they're going to have a 1065 with a Schedule K for each member. If they are incorporated, of course, we're going to do an 1120 with a Schedule K for each member. And if they have opted to be an S Corp, we're going to do an 1120 with a Schedule K for each member. This very quick training was provided by me, Precious Swain-Peaks, owner of Anointed for Prosperity, Bookkeeping, and more. Of course, this recording and the training material has been copywritten, and the beautiful graphics of the pretty trucks came from Google. If you need a consultation or you need further assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to anointedforprosperity.com. In the comments of the video, you will find a link that will give you a checklist. If you are a tax preparer and you don't already have a checklist or a reconstruction sheet for truckers, you will be able to go to this link and at no charge, you can download a checklist for truckers. I tried to keep it short and to the point, hoping that this would help somebody to be able to help their trucker clients. Again, thank you for taking time to tune in. I am Precious Swain-Peaks, owner of Anointed for Prosperity, Bookkeeping, and more. And you have an amazing evening.